Did you know that as a woman you have a 3% chance of having twins? Your chances increase if you are over the age of 30, have had multiple pregnancies, you are using fertility treatments, or if your mother or grandmother is a fraternal twin. There are two types of twins, fraternal or identical. Fraternal is when more than one egg and more than one sperm is fertilized in the uterus. Identical is when one egg is fertilized and divides into two embryos, sharing the same genes. If pregnant with twins, you have an increased probability of health complications than if you were pregnant with only one. The increased complications result in more doctor's appointments. For example, when I was pregnant with twins, I had 24 doctor's appointments automatically scheduled when we discovered I had twins. When I was only pregnant with one, I had the standard 8. There are 3 types of twin pregnancies: monoamniotic, monocryonic, or MOMO, monocryonic diamniotic, MODI, dicryonic diamniotic, which is DI-DI. I was not aware that my chances increased because I was over the age of 30, or that having twins was not hereditary. It was scary once I realized the risks that were associated with twin pregnancies. I learned a lot through my twin pregnancies about the different types. Let's start with the DI-DI twin pregnancy. This is the most common and occurs 76% of the time. This is when 2 eggs are fertilized by 2 different sperm. The results can be identical or fraternal, but most likely fraternal. This is when there is one amniotic sac and one placenta. The only thing that they share is the woman's womb. There are very low chance of complications. The biggest chance for a complication you have is a premature birth, which happens 2/3 of the time. With a DI-DI twin pregnancy, you also are able to go full term, which is considered 38 weeks gestation. Another type of twin pregnancy is MODI. MODI happens 20% of the time spontaneously and 4% of the time with fertility treatments. This is when one egg is fertilized and splits into 2 embryos. It always results in identical twins, which means they share the same genes and the same sex. In a MODI twin pregnancy, they share a placenta and an amniotic sac. The only thing is that they have a dividing membrane that separates them. There are higher risks with MODI twin pregnancies than with the DI-DI twin pregnancy. They have an 8% risk of structural defects. There's also a 5% risk of cardiac defects. Another risk associated with MODI twin pregnancies is unequal placental sharing. This occurs 10 to 15% of the time. There's also complications if one of the fetuses demises, which can happen because of the placental sharing. If one of the fetuses dies, the other baby will more than likely die, or there will be neurological defects. They also run the risk of having twin-to-twin transfusion. This causes the majority of the deaths in MODI twin pregnancies. This is called the disease of the placenta. What happens is there's a decreased blood volume from the placental sharing. If left untreated, the mortality rate is 70 to 100%. Doctors recommend that MODI twin pregnancies are born at 36 weeks gestation. The last type of twin pregnancy is MOMO. MOMO twin pregnancies are extremely rare and only occur 1% of the time. This is when one egg is fertilized and splits into 2 embryos. It always results in identical twins, which means they share the same genes and are the same sex. In a MOMO twin pregnancy, they share a placenta and an amniotic sac. The difference between that and a MODI is that there is no dividing membrane. Since there is no membrane, they are at a higher risk for complications. One risk is umbilical cord complications. The umbilical cord supplies blood and nutrients to both babies. When there is no membrane, the umbilical cord crosses or presses against each other, which can cause a lack of blood or nutrients to one or both of the babies. They also have the risk of twin-to-twin transfusion. Another complication involved with a MOMO twin pregnancy is abnormal amniotic fluid levels. This can be when fluids are too high or too low. If they are too low, there will be limited movements with the babies, smaller bladder, slow growth, and also decreased protection of the umbilical cord. If there are high levels, there can be a larger bladder or potential heart failure with the babies. Again, premature birth is always a complication associated with this type of pregnancy as well. Doctors recommend that Momo twin pregnancies only go to 34 weeks to gestation if they can make it that far. These are the 3 types of twin pregnancies. In conclusion, there are 3 types of twin pregnancies. There are Di-Di, Mo-Di, and Momo. Every twin pregnancy has risk. The more info on becoming pregnant and the risk are always beneficial to everyone involved. I was not aware that I had an increased chance of a twin pregnancy, but it also did not change my decision on whether or not we were going to have more children. I had Mo-Di twin girls born at 32 weeks gestation. Due to their prematurity, they both experienced NICU time of 42 days, and they also had a weaker immune system. This weaker immune system had them back in the hospital 2 weeks after discharge due to a respiratory infection. This year has been a year of ups and downs for me and a struggle, but the girls are thriving and stronger every day. Twin pregnancy was extremely scary, but in the end, they're also one of my biggest accomplishments. Thank you.